Welcome to the shit show.
It is the All Elite Wrap-Up for October 24th, 2024. Tom is over there in a classic ECW wrestling hat on a Terry Funk shirt.
Yeah, doubling it up. You know what I mean?
Tom is styling, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Tom's also in our YouTube chat saying yo, 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 because he's looking for anybody to respond. Because if you're watching us live, you can jump in the chat, talk to us back and forth as we recap Dynamite and talk about whatever else comes to our mind or your mind.
Yeah, but I don't need anyone to talk to me. Like I can easily just be here by myself yelling all day in the chat. You know how many times I used to just journal and just be like, it's just me. And it wouldn't be. Here's the other thing too about journaling. Everyone would always be like, oh, you journal? So like, are you like introspective? Like, no, I would just write like, man, these fucking trees are so goddamn tall. Like, I just talk.
Yeah.
And it just happens that I'm writing
Guy
it.
pissed me off at the gas station today.
Well, yeah, not even that. It's just like fucking weird that like I'm not 6 foot, I'm 5'9". Why? Like, why the fuck is it that way? Huh? Who clicked that? Why? What happened? You know, just things like that. But why did someone create the drive-through? And the first thing is to take your money, and then the second thing is to give you the shitty food. Like, that should be the other way around. Haha, I got your money. Now fucking here's some pickles. I didn't want pickles. Too fucking bad. You got a car behind you. And you're like, what the fuck? Huh?
Yeah, because they need your money. They don't want you getting the food and then driving off.
Well, you could still create the fucking thing where like me, make the decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Feel like I can do that.
Yeah, you are the one that keeps saying that.
Everyone else is saying it. A lot of other people are saying it. There's so
Everybody
many
keeps
people.
saying I have the biggest brain, make all the smart decisions. They're like, wow. Tom,
you know, if you just have unbridled stupidity confidence, it can get you to be president, maybe twice. But
good.
Saying,
help us. Yeah, this is not the anxiety hour, Tom. This is the Holy Wrap-Up.
No, but I got things to say. Yeah. Look, we've got AEW Dynamite. Let's all be honest with ourselves. It was good. You know, but like nothing monumental, right? We didn't see the debut of Bryan Danielson, you know, anything like that, right? Here's the thing I was going to say to you earlier, because we were talking about something, and I was like, Ricochet. Oh yeah, Ricochet said that Samantha Irvin isn't going to go to AEW. Here's the thing, I'm never taking advice from someone who goes by the wrestling name on whatever platform they're posting on, right? So if you're at Ricochet, I don't listen to you. Like, you're just telling me your fucking matches and your cool spots. Like, if you want to go by your real name, which I don't know what it is, let's just say
Richard O'Shea.
Okay, Richard O'Shea. Okay, cool. But like, here's the thing that breaks all of this shit. I think I went on this rant way back in the day on Spanish Announce Table, but it's not time for AEW people to hear it too. This is what I don't like about pro wrestling. You got people like, and this is the example, and I'll use it again. Back in the day, Sasha Banks, right? She did the thing that made me perk up my ears and go like, that's it. That's the thing I don't like. So in WWE, she had an injured leg. I believe it was Charlotte gave her the figure eight or whatever the fuck she calls it, right? And my leg, right? And she even was like, not like taken off by a hospital, but like selling the leg. And even the next week, selling the leg.
Leg's broke, right?
Yeah.
Sasha Banks' leg is broke.
Yeah. And then on her Twitter, Sasha Banks, she's like, guess what these squats look like? And doing fucking squats. And I'm like, that's again, if you want to go by, I don't know what her name is. Is it Mercedes something?
I think it's Mercedes something. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Mercedes something. And you want to be like, check out these fucking squats. I'm like, damn, good job. But when your character is like, these are cool. That's what's fucking wrong. You have a character one and have a personal one.
Yeah.
And your real shit that you want to talk, like politics or whatever it is, say it on that one. But hologram, I'm not going to take a lot of advice from.
See, and if you're a genius, you could just be like, your character is Dave Bautista, but then you're Dave Bautista. You know what I mean? Like, so it just, you know what I mean? Like, it's just that easy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just add
That
a
easy.
U. Just add
Right?
a
Yeah.
U. That's all
You
you,
know what
got
I
to
mean?
do. And then I know. Then I know, hey, this guy actually has a sound reason for not liking a certain political figure. And then the other one likes to powerbomb Triple H. Totally get it.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
The Wrestling with Neurodivergence podcast is in the chat. Welcome. They say Gary agrees with Tom. And yeah, I mean, I agree with Tom too here. And we encourage all of you to join in the chat, right? Again, if you're listening back on the podcast, we do this on YouTube. Find us, chat with us live when we do this. Tom's giddy about something.
I have a lot of valid points that makes my point.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I said
that phrase was, you said, I have, gosh, what was that phrase? You were like, I have proven points that proves my point.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yes.
Proven points proves my point.
Yes.
If we ever made shirts, that'd be one of them.
I love it.
That would be
I love
one
it.
of them.
So yeah, get in the chat, talk with us. If you can't join the chat live, you can always find us on the social medias. We're on the threads, all_elite_ wrap up. And just go to allelitewrapup.com for all the links that you might need.
That's exactly what you do.
Links, including donate links. Tom. And also send us emails, aewrapup@gmail.com, right? Type them out, phone call them, video them, send them to us. We want to play them, talk to them, answer them right here, Tom. What's going on with you, Tom? What's going on with you?
You know, yeah. So we're getting geared up for two things. Actually, I got a lot of things coming up. This will be a fun segment. So this way I got coming up. First thing on my mind, on my heart, World Series. Game 1, Friday night. Can't wait. Second thing, I can't watch it because my grandma doesn't know this, but she was the homecoming queen at Oak Grove High School in I think it was 42.
Yeah, I remember it well.
Yeah, obviously you were there.
Mm-hmm.
Tell by your beard.
Yeah.
But we are taking her as a surprise because it's homecoming and going to have her,
That's awesome.
go the thing.
That's cool.
I've got
that beats the
thing.
World Series game 1. That beats.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I've got the thing, but she's not a person that like wants all the attention. You get what I'm saying? So if she wants to put it on, awesome. If not, totally fine. And then game 2 is Saturday night. And I can't watch it because I'm going to a Halloween party, which I met up with you because I had to get one piece of my Halloween costume. Tim, before I tell my side of my Halloween thing, do you do this? Do you dress up? Do you anything for you this year?
Not regularly, and we don't have any events that we're going to. I know we're playing some like Thanksgiving things that we're going to and stuff, so we're probably not doing anything for Halloween. Nobody comes out here, right? Do not get any trick-or-treaters out here. And so, yeah, like we're not going to an event, so I have no costume, nothing to do. Nope.
That's okay. We're going to a pretty, they are well-established people. They are very successful people, and they're very creative people. And it is a friend of my wife's Halloween party. Mm-hmm. So you can't go as like peanut butter and jelly, right? Like they're going to be like, whatever, right?
Nerd. Yeah.
Right. They're an older crowd too. My wife had the idea of us going as the publisher clearinghouse. So I would have the big check and she would have like the rollers in her hair. But here's the problem with that is my mind. Anytime you have couples costumes, you have to have the ability that if they get separated, I still know it's something, right? You can't, because I would just be in a suit if I was in the publisher's clearinghouse and like, who are you? I'm like, I'm just a jack off, right?
Like, you don't look
exactly.
like Ed McMahon.
Yeah, right. So we are going this year as Randy Johnson is what she's dressing up as, the left-hander with the Arizona Diamondbacks, Seattle Mariners, so many others. One of the best left-handed pitchers of all time, probably the best slider in the history of baseball. And I'm going as a bird. Remember the bird that he fucking exploded in spring training?
Yeah,
so I got a bird. Yeah, so I got a bird costume. I'm gonna like paint my eye up. I'm gonna put little bruises, maybe like
to
dark
pluck
out
feathers off that thing.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So and then there you go, right? Because if I'm away from her, I'm I'm a bird. And then if she's away from me, she likes baseball, right? Whatever.
I saw online one time, my favorite costume idea that I've ever seen was the guy had a cardboard cutout and he made it look like a YouTube screen, right? It looked like a YouTube channel with things on the side. And the YouTube title, and it was just a cutout, and it was like him in the hole, and it said, Guy makes out with hottest girl at the party, and he's like walking around talking to the ladies, like, "Hey, come on, you want to get it on the thing?" I was like, "That's a smart man, right? Like, just super."
I love
smart,
Halloween. Yeah. Halloween is someone that I love dressing up for Halloween. I have got a lot of good ones too. My first year at the current job I have, I went as a news flash. So I got a big trench coat and then I put newspaper all up and down me. And I would like go like this, very not appropriate, but we didn't have HR. So fuck them. So, it's funny.
2000s, you know what I mean? What do you...
Yeah, it was 2016.
Okay.
Yeah, it's recent. One time I went as a cokehead where I put little powdered sugar on my nose, but then I put a Coke bottle and I rubber band it around my head.
This was a work party, I imagine, right?
No, I don't remember that was. What made me think of all this is kind of similar to the YouTube thing. I went one year pre-dating my wife. I went as God's gift to women. So I got one of those like washer machine boxes, got a hole, put wrapping paper on it, put 2 women from God. And I just walked around. I mean, fucking things like this, that sucked. Rested my beer on it. That was fun. I went as Santa Claus. That really fucked up some people because I was just saying, ho, ho, ho. And I had like little snow machine. And they're like, dude, you're taking this way too serious. And I throw candy canes at people. And they're like, you're fucking weird. Love it. Yeah. Halloween's best.
The Wrestling with Neurodivergence pod said Lisa is going to be neurotypical. How do you do that? How do you go as neurotypical for Halloween? That'd be interesting to see. I don't know. I tried masking my whole life. I don't know that I pulled it off very well. I don't know.
I'm gonna act like I know what that word means. So
okay, all right.
I'm pretty dumb.
Just keep. You're masking well, Tom. All right.
Yeah.
I last night celebrated 21st wedding anniversary. Because love wins, right?
Love wins.
And we didn't make a huge ordeal out of this one. Last year we did the whole Greece trip, right? Spent it on the cruise and
movie?
all that. So yeah, the movie. Yep, 2 weeks overseas watching the movie. And so this time we just did like date night, right? Yeah. That's what we do. It's just 2 weeks overseas watching. Yeah. To watch Greece. Didn't get off the boat. We just did a Greece marathon. Greece 2. Yeah.
You got your in your hair. She got a little cigarette.
Yeah.
Tapping her foot.
We're not boomers, Tom. We're not doing that. This isn't the sock hop that we're going to. Other than that, so I caught up on the Dynamite this morning. Right. I tried to stay away from social medias as best I could, but I think that was also aided in my ability to do that by wasn't a whole lot of people giving this I wouldn't say rave reviews. I don't think people found this necessarily a bad Dynamite, but I
would say that the best thing here's where I could give the show its biggest compliment. The best thing about the show was the main event story. That's what you want, right? You're going to have week to week in any TV show, especially a TV show that doesn't stop. Okay. But you want your main event thing to be the thing that we remember. And obviously we'll get to it towards the end, but Orange Cassidy maybe being thrusted into a position where he has to care again. So we'll see how that works.
He's going to have to try.
He may have to try. So let's talk about it. Last night in Salt Lake City, the granddaddy of them all.
The granddaddy of them all.
At the Maverick Center.
Oh, Salt Lake City there.
Yeah. Everyone knows the Maverick Center. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's been many paintings about the Maverick Center in Salt Lake City, the granddaddy of them all.
That one entertainment thing there. That one.
I remember it closing at 8. I'm surprised I actually could record the show that night. But it's a Wednesday night, so
do they let the citizens of Salt Lake City go to shows? I didn't realize that was a thing they allowed. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, apparently they did. For this one, it was a pretty good crowd. For this one, we got the show kicked off with, before we even got to, the actual arena and what it had to give us for the night's entertainment, we got a highlight package from Jon Moxley. Now, Tim, I'm going to tell you from my side, and I rewatched it to make sure that, I can't hear that well. So maybe I didn't hear it very well the first time. So let's give it a second shot. Nope. I couldn't understand what Jon Moxley was saying because the background music was was drowning his words
yeah.
out. So I didn't catch what he said here.
I was able to, but again, I was watching back, like I said, today, and I think I had it up on my phone, and so maybe the compression of that made it easier to hear, right?
Yeah.
I will say this. These style promos that he's doing here when we're doing these opening vignettes, while the entirety of them have nuggets of things that are like I would call plot points, right, and statements. Some of them venture on the Bray Wyatt. We're getting a little, poetic for no reason here, right? Yeah. And it's like, all right, fine. So I'm kind of, it looked more like he was like with the background. I was like, was he about to do a 5-hour energy commercial here? You know what I mean? So I just got, I like at this point, I hit a point with this storyline where I'm like, all right, we've done this 3 weeks now where we get this mysterious, he's out, like I said, shouting his anger to the sky. Yeah. What are we doing now? Right? I'm like, come on, let's do something now.
Yeah, they have been a little bit of a riddle, like take 10 paces into the forest and then kiss
when the mouse encounters the bobcat in the forest. Like, come on, dog.
Yeah. What do we do?
But are you gonna punch somebody in the fucking nose or what?
Exactly. But the cool part here was after this vignette was, done with its presentation, we went outside and it was like Team AEW. And they're all standing there and they're like, we're going to beat the shit out of this guy. The coolest thing I like
look like the junior varsity team though for a second.
But I did like that it was a wide range of different people. So you had Private Party, you had Mark Briscoe, you had Orange Cassidy, you also had Satnam Singh and Jeff Jarrett. Johnny, the Dark Order was there too. So yes, it wasn't
Ricochet
a clique. Right. And it wasn't Ricochet and Will Ospreay, right? But it did give you hey, there's
people are coming together for this.
Yeah, to get after these people who are threatening their business.
Yes, Wrestling with Neurodivergence Pod brought up the most important of them all out there was Karen Jarrett, who was ready to fucking throw down, which was a nice touch. I don't know if you saw that. Like she was like pointing at Jeff Jarrett's like, get the like come on. Like Karen Jarrett was ready to fuck some shit up.
Well, you would have thought that they would have, had Satnam Singh in the front, right? Like he's the biggest motherfucker. Kid, there you go. He can choke slam Marina, probably. I mean, you should.
Well, he's lightning fast too.
Yeah, man. When we went to that basketball thing because he played in the NBA, he couldn't hit a 3 to save his fucking life. Nope. No threes.
No.
You know who could shoot threes though? Nick Jackson.
Oh yeah,
Nick Jackson. That motherfucker.
Yeah, you're talking about the thing at your high school that came and did the event?
AEW. Yeah.
Really cool. I would have been clowning some folks. Now, again, I haven't played ball in a while, right? So I couldn't go out there on the court and do it as well as I used to. But
Jade Cargill was crossing some people up. But I digress. Let's get back on to the things that happened last week because it kicks off pretty cool. We got Tony Schiavone in the ring, and he says, "Hangman, come on down." So Hangman comes down, and here's the coolest part about it. So essentially, he's like, "Last week I took Jay White's head off." And then he mentions Colton Gunn, and he says he hit him so hard that he'll probably forget his brother's name. Now, this is where my brain instantly went to. Remember when he actually had the concussion and him and John Moxley were face to face, and he was like, I couldn't remember the name of my son. And so to me, look at the parallel of
he's now doing unto others what have been done unto him, right?
And he knows how much that hurts. And he's like, yep. And this isn't even someone like he's necessarily feuding.
No, with. It's just somebody needs to feel what I feel.
Yeah.
And you will feel what I feel.
And
that's the words I would start using, right? Somebody needs to feel what I feel.
Yeah. DMX, feel my pain. But I thought that was great. But before you can
know what else DMX said?
All right. Don't you have the soundbite of something? Don't you have that?
No, I don't think we do have no, we don't have that. We need to get that back in here. But we do have where was it?
You a big motherfucker.
So that's close enough.
It was. So before Hangman could even really say too much, Colton does come out, starts hitting him. And then Jay White jumps in the ring because Hangman's beating him up. Then Juice Robinson's getting in there. And then Jay White is like, hey, you motherfucker, where you going with the bum leg? I don't care where this goes. You always know I'm better than you. and he just walks off. What'd you think?
So what is the deal with the Hangman leg? He was limp. Like everybody was like, oh my God, he was limping when he went out there. I noticed he was limping when he walked in the place. And did he like re-injure this, or is this part of the story and they're going to sell that? And
I think it's part of the story, but honestly, I didn't remember a spot like what we'll see later with Chuck.
Yeah. Like what made him do it. Right. Yeah. Like what made it exacerbated or whatever it is. Yeah. I do like, this starts the night that like every heel, when they came out to talk to Tony Schiavone, they all punked him out and made him like leave over to the
Tony
corner.
Needs to stop it with someone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he needs to be like,
look,
finally, like, God
Hangman,
damn it.
yeah, Hangman and Moxley can push me around, but fuck you, Sammy Guevara. And it's like, what the fuck? Like I ain't taking your shit.
Yeah, when Action Andretti finally starts becoming asshole, like Tony Schiavone just shoves him back. Like,
shut up, nerd. Get back with your groove.
From your fucking ramen noodle headed ass. All right. Where were we here? Oh, Hangman. Yeah. Look, I love this crazy eye Hangman.
Mm-hmm.
Jay White's good. I mean, he's really good at what he does, obviously. Juice Robinson's awesome. Everybody's behind them. It is interesting that, like, Hangman, this storyline is Hangman's just kind of losing his mind. He's being an asshole. And guys that we normally thought were kind of asshole-ish are coming out to be like, hey, quit being a dick. And they're going to try to outnumber him, I guess. Is that what this story is?
That's the part that makes the not weirdest sense to me, but like is the most interesting thing just from a storyline perspective is in the history of all stories, it feels like the heels, the bad guys always have the upper hand with numbers, right? I got, I lead a gang. Here's my
4
gang.
4 on 1. I got to battle out of this. Mm-hmm.
Right. All that, the Batman always battles Joker and Riddler and all that bullshit.
All the foot soldiers and the Ninja Turtles.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But with this, the good guys have the numbers advantage and the bad guy because that was interesting. Because if you just watch, not knowing what had happened previously or who these characters were, right? If you were just like, I'm going to check out wrestling. Oh, what's this? And that's the end of it. You're like, man, Jay White and those guys sure making fun of that cowboy. That's not nice. And then
I think this is a bad idea where I think we can get Hangman to lose a couple of small feuds with this character and still make it have legs because he gets increasingly fucking psychotic about it, right? Like Jay White beats him here because he's outnumbered. He's gonna be like, God, and then somebody else is gonna be having a match, and he's gonna be like, you, right? And then he's gonna go like get mad at them. I don't know, Sammy Guevara, right? And then Sammy Guevara beats him, and he'll be like, what the fuck, right? And he's just losing his mind until we finally push it forward. But what do we do here? What is there a purpose for this new changed Hangman? Do we have an idea yet? Like what
I don't know.
The end game?
I don't know, but I don't think it should end. I like Hangman,
definitely not ending yet. Anytime, no.
However, I think the coolest part you could do with this would be to end it in this way. Like you said, he loses to Jay White, and then he loses to Austin Gunn, then he loses to Juice, but then he jumps him, right? Right, but then he jumps him backstage. I'm taking them all out, and they beat him down basically into submission where he's on the ground after they've all kicked him in the head. Because then they could go back to being the bad guys, right? They kicked him in the head, they hit him with chairs. Yeah. And he's just laying there. And you could go to a shot where he's like, essentially, you wouldn't have him say this, but the shot would be, man, I'm fucked up. Like, this is rock bottom. Like, this is where I've gone to. You know what I mean? I would
flip it. I'd almost have him like happy and relieved that like it's been enough, right? He finally suffered enough, or you know what I mean, felt enough pain to like turn around, right? That he'll be like,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
all right, I can move on.
Weeks. Yeah, have him gone a couple weeks, and then he can be like, dude, was I not the craziest person here? And like, yes. Like, I don't know.
If he just comes back out of nowhere, old music again, butterfly jeans on. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
With his progressive agenda and all that. Yeah, exactly. We'd all be like,
yeah. And he could just be like, and he just owns it because that would be what Hangman would do. Now, that would be honest, like a great tidbit to the story of Hangman because he owns his insecurities and his shortcomings so that when he does get back on the other side, if he could just be like, hey, Man, I was fucked
No,
up.
you know what he needs to do?
You know
What was the disease Randy Orton said? He had the intermittent explosive disorder. He needs to come out,
Yeah.
right? And be
Yeah.
like, look, I have a doctor's do the whole thing.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. So then up next after that, we get into some in-ring action. And apparently we've got the biggest muscle in AEW, Shelton Benjamin with MVP taking out Sammy Guevara. Man, how the mighty have fallen. Sammy Guevara, once a pillar of this company, is just
literally getting tossed around. Opening spot was, let me just fucking just fucking throw you.
So
what I can do.
This?
He damn near spun him on his finger like a basketball. Man, yeah. So Shelton Benjamin is, I think it was Tony Schiavone said, like, the term pound for pound rings to mind, where you're like, this guy might be like the best overall athlete. But then it hit me. I was like, we need a Claudio Shelton Benjamin little mini thing going on here.
Well, here's what I said on Threads when I posted it. You could call this motherfucker Shelton Benjamin Button, because it looks like the fucking guy hasn't aged since WrestleMania 19. You know what I mean? Like,
that's true.
Jesus, nothing's changed.
And
it's
just,
incredible.
I mean, geez, man, I might get lightheaded and standing up when we're done with this podcast. And this guy is just out there, you know what I mean? Just throwing Sammy Guevara around like he's a feather.
And one other thing, though, that made me think of something interesting that people have always said, and now once they're starting to come back over to AEW, man, WWE has a big roster, because Shelton Benjamin over in WWE was just a guy. Yeah. You know what I mean?
We talked about Billy Gunn,
here.
where I was like, he was averaging that. He's the largest dude in the ring every time.
Kind of like this. Now, he's doing more athletic things than just size and strength, right? But yeah, you're starting to see, like, could Sammy Guevara
but
even
he is one
make
of those.
WWE?
He's one of those where, again, wrestling skews. We've got a range, right? We've got very small people. And we've got gigantic. Like, it's the carnival show, right? If you were to find most sports, Shelton Benjamin does have that, like, athletic build where he's a utility player and could do so many different things, just because, like, he's big enough to be a big guy, right? But he's fast, and then he's also, like, got minute control of his body movements and stuff. Like, he's a very athletic human being, and it's very impressive.
Side note, this is why, quick tangent, that's why Scott Hall is in the top 5 all time. Because Scott Hall, when he wrestled Diesel as Razor Ramon, when he would wrestle Diesel or Undertaker or anything like that, he'd bump around and jump all the stuff. But then when he would wrestle Eddie Guerrero or Chris Jericho, he'd be the biggest guy putting on the side headlock, doing the, razor's edge or, outsider's edge, whatever you want to call it. Like, Scott
Hall's awesome.
But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, he could be any role. Shawn Michaels can do it to a certain extent. Like, but he had
a size limit that he could play the big guy with, right?
Scott Hall could be the big guy. If you just want to say he's the big guy, we'll all believe it. But he would be small when it was.
I always loved
the big talent.
Thinking back retroactively about Scott Hall would say with the big guy and the medium-sized guy, and Scott Hall's like 6'6", 350 or whatever the fuck he is. Like, dude, what the fuck?
He's a huge human. But he didn't seem overwhelming because he knew how to wrestle when it was Goldberg.
Well,
you know what
he was
I'm
also
saying?
proportional too, right? He wasn't this coming out with his arms can't put down and things like that. Well, in the early days, he sure was. But yeah.
Central States, when he was wrestling here in Kansas City with Shawn Michaels.
Yeah. Afro handlebar mustache Scott Hall was. Yeah, that dude was swole up.
He was eating chicken and getting them
roids.
I
might do that. I might go with the I'm gonna go with the Blade Runner, or not Blade Runner, the Outrunner mustache.
I love the Outrunners. God, they're so good.
See if I can grow out the little mini fro.
Hopefully it recedes, because then it'd be better. You know what I mean? Then
where it's just like like from back.
Yeah, that'd be the best.
Yeah.
Speaking of someone else, get on that right now. Someone else that I love is Mariah May. Easy on the eyes and such a great talent. And she throws a fucking suitcase down the hall. And Renee's like, hey. And I like this because Mariah May's like, here's the thing. Anna Jay can't be in the ring with me, and she definitely doesn't deserve to be in the locker room with me.
Yeah, this feels real.
Yeets her shit. And then Anna Jay's like, bitch,
touch my shit.
Favorite top. Yeah, my favorite top is down there. you do to my shoes? And then, you know, and that's fun.
Fucking bronzer in there, bitch. Fuck you up.
Yeah, my fucking passport. I'm supposed to go to Greece. You know,
supposed to go to Greece. Have a fucking Netflix marathon.
Yeah, going to Greece to watch Greece. No, and so then Christopher Daniels separates them. Okay, Christopher Daniels, cool to see you do your job this time.
Except he was like already had his hand on his shoulder when she started to tell. He was there a little too early, right? Like he had the Kip Sabian timing here. I was like, you know, like we didn't let this develop. Like she barely touched her one hand before he was like, break it up. Like, I guess it does make sense that Christopher Daniels might have been there watching an interview going live during a production. I guess so. He could have been just off screen. Okay, all right.
You could explain it away, but it also was bad time.
Yeah, give it a break. Give it like one little like wait, and then
do it. Yeah,
do the Jeff Hardy right at the top, like while you wait, right, and then you run. That's what I always do when I need a break. Right, if I'm like giving a public speech, I'm like, all right, I know I need to pause. I can.
How many silly ass moments did we have when Jeff Hardy was in AEW and it felt like he was only there for 4 weeks? You know what I mean? Like just all Jeff the Hardy. Silliness.
The Dippin' Dots.
Well, that was Dustin Rhodes and Jack Swagger, and that was 9 feet behind me.
Right.
I could see it. The camera guy bumped into me when they shot that because that was an independent. That was the week of my wedding.
Yeah.
That was a great.
God, not the Dippin' Dots.
Yeah, that was great. That was a fun show.
Yeah.
But this was a fun show, and we'll get back to it because next up we heard from the Don Callis family, specifically Kyle Fletcher, and I'll say this. This felt like if, for example, Tim, if you wrote me something awesome and we're backstage and everyone's like, yeah, no, these are the talking points. Fuck yeah. And then you gave it to me. And then I go, what if I freestyled? And then got off it was just a little too much.
It's too much. They cut this in half, right? And get there quicker. And this all goes well. I would tell him to lean into a little bit more, like make it feel like you are losing your fucking mind, and thus you do the Britney Spears thing, right? Because I like that. I can't be anything like you. Like, you could even say, I grew this because I wanted to, like, I can't believe I ever wanted to be like you, right? Never again. And then, but man, I don't know. I fucking told a story about growing up with his dog or some shit. Like, this guy went on way too long.
Yeah, it was too much of like, let's tighten it up.
And I think, the point's in there, right? If you would have isolated anyone,
that's what I'm saying.
He's doing well, and I think he's got a good future. I do think Kyle Fletcher is like, he's better than most at his time in and age, at least on the mic, right? And so I think giving him this practice is great, but man, this went way too long. I mean, like he had like 6 or 7 things to get off his chest, and I was like, let's cut it down to 2. Yeah, 2 things to say.
Cut it down to 2. This would be, I will say this though, maybe this was the whole idea of it, potentially, is when Don Callis
taking fucking forever anyway.
Well, because when Don Callis is out there, we boo the fuck out of it. So let's not make it 4 minutes. Let's make it 8 minutes, or whatever it was.
Let's really make them be like, move this the fuck along. So I get that, yeah. If that's what they went for, they did it.
Yeah, but some of the things here I did really like. Again, I'm splitting hairs, but Don Callis, I think, should have stopped him a little bit.
Hit me, it delayed. I was like, wait a minute, what is he fucking? I don't know.
I would have had Don Callis try to stop him a little bit, because when Kyle Fletcher's like, and like Don Callis is kind of like,
Clippers, what? What the fuck?
Hey man, like, how am I going to promote this?
Talk about this, dog. I'm trying.
Exactly.
We got a photo shoot tomorrow.
That's what I'm saying. Don Callis could have been like, hey, we didn't even do the thing where like you take the microphone to the side, but we didn't talk about this. And he just goes, I got to do it. And then you're.
Except, if only he could have clipped himself a little bit, and then he also has the Don Callis scar.
That would have been the best. That would have been the best.
I still am mad that the Don Callis scar has stopped growing. That thing needed to start, you know what I mean? It needed to come around, come on, keep going.
They should do that if he ever goes babyface, and then that's how you know he lies, because the scar gets bigger.
The scar gets bigger.
Pinocchio with the scar. Yeah. But yeah, so he cuts his hair, doesn't do it all the way, so then he even looks more of a goof. And then he goes, Will Ospreay.
Well, we got something later, right? Like after footage or something of him finishing
Yeah,
the
we
job.
do his thing.
So he had more to say.
Right, yeah. We got it. We got it, pal.
Yeah, we get it. You don't want to be like him. We get it.
Yeah, totally understand.
He should come out with a new accent now, though. He should be Southern American all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm. Hey, y'all. What the?
Hi, y'all. I'm Kyle Fletcher. Slap nuts.
I tell you what, Kyle Fletcher does sound like someone from Mississippi.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
sounds like somebody voted for Trump.
Yeah. Okay, but hey, Renee Paquette is backstage, and she's talking to Ricochet, and he's basically like, "What up?" Here was an interesting thing. They showed footage from Maple Leaf Pro, which is a thing. And he goes, "Yeah, I went after Takeshita. I'm gonna kick his ass next time. Got him." And MVP and Shelton Benjamin walk up. He goes, "Hey, new company, new beginnings. Let's be friends, huh? Why don't you say?" And gives him a card. And Rick O'Shea kind of just looks at it, doesn't really put it away, doesn't throw it to the ground. What do you think of that?
So if I know anything about regional wrestling promoters, somebody called that day to, I don't know, Bill Johnson and said, "Hey, listen, you guys held a match between Ricochet and Will Ospreay in 2009. We'd like to buy that footage or rent that, you know what I mean, or license that footage today." And that motherfucker was like racing home from his day job to hit his fucking garage and dig through tapes while his wife's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Shut up! I gotta. we're gonna eat great tonight."
Yeah.
So yeah, that was an interesting bit of footage that we got out of that. But yeah,
what do you think about this MVP Ricochet, Shelton Benjamin?
That situation,
are we not?
This is interesting, as you're saying. We can't deny it, and I know, like, we live in times where we don't necessarily, I don't know, we feel a little timid, I think, at addressing some things, but this is clear. MVP is specifically targeting the black wrestlers and giving them his card, right? Yep. So what do we make of this?
I don't know, because you also have another black manager out there, Stokely Hathaway, who we'll talk about in a moment. And he is targeting some black wrestlers. So it's interesting. And here's the thing that I will say. Obviously, Stokely is way more funnier and comedic and kind of self-deprecating, and MVP's the serious button-up type, but they're also the same thing. It's kind of like the Outrunners in FTR. Like, okay, yeah, they're different, but really they're not. And so that would be one thing I would say they need to do, is either make Stokely just say, you know, "I'm only going after tag teams" or whatever, and then MVP says, "I'm here to take everything over," or they consolidate and come together. I don't know, but like, you get what I'm saying?
I do.
Because if I was a wrestler and I was, you know, again, in real, this is real here, and I'm looking for management, and I look at these two, I go,
you wouldn't take one of them seriously.
Well, I'd be like, well, one of them makes me laugh, and the other one kind of is a little bit too much of a hard ass. So like,
I see what you're saying.
But they're both wanting me to do the same thing. So I don't know where I'd go. That would be the only thing I'd say.
The worst crime that you can commit is dick riding without a license.
More Stokely Hathaway.
Yeah, I know. I need more Stokely in my daily life.
There's a detail that he actually posted on one of his social medias that I'll bring up that happened in the main event angle. That was very interesting. So I'll put a pin in that for now.
Okay. All right.
Next up, we got to come up with a fucking name for this. It's the Murder Hawk Monster.
I have it. They need to just call themselves Everybody Dies. Like, I know that's his thing, and he may not want to give it up to the tag team, but like, if it was like this week, the Young Bucks defend the AEW tag team titles against Everybody Dies, I'm watching that.
Yes.
Everybody Dies.
Yes. Yeah. Something with Murder Machine, though, or something like that. That's what I was thinking of.
Murder Machine.
Yeah, Murder Machine, something like that. But look at this. I actually went to AEW's recap page. It says verse 2 local competitors. It doesn't even give them the names. Poor bastard.
Talent. Yeah.
God. And I will say their finisher here with like a power bomb choke slam, you know.
Look, I love Lance Archer. Brian Cage, I've always, whatever. He's fine. I never
looks impressive.
Fine.
Yeah.
Looks impressive. Yeah, giving these two a tag team, especially if you've got a Don Callis talking for them. You can easily build stories around their unstoppable monsters that are bloodthirsty, and what are we going to do when they turn their attention to us?
And I will say, Lance Archer looking way better this week than last week. He got his hair into a presentable manner. He looked like he had slept a couple hours. Yeah, he was way better than whatever that Creed fucking roadie was last
wasn't
week.
A stunt double filling in.
Yeah, exactly. So, I think they're great. It's the most athletic version of 10 you'll ever see, with like the big guy and the small guy. Like they're just boom, boom. You know what I mean? Like if it's like the bone.
I like this idea of them as a tag team, and did Brian Cage even actually get in this match? I think he did a double team move with.
Well, he did he did the double team move, but yeah.
But more of that, for a while, let's just have them be like, Jesus Christ, right? Just stomping people out, murdering them. Murder Machine.
What?
I don't know if we can.
Murder Machine.
I mean, that's
something
might be hard to
that.
market in this day and age.
Yeah, something. Fuck them. They're
Mayhem Machine or something.
Yeah. Well, no, they're putting syringe fucking needles in
Murder Machine.
Swerve's mouth. Yeah, it's a Murder Machine.
Murder Hawk, Lance Archer, and the Machine, Brian Cage, right? Murder Machine. And
they have a good end to get the title belts super quick, because Don Callis has history with the Young Bucks and could be like, hey, little fuckers, remember how you kind of threw me to the side? Oh, well, now I'm back.
Slimy grease balls. Yeah.
And now I'm back. And they could be like, whoa. And have them get murdered.
Yes.
The EVPs, no offense. This is just a John Cena, Brock Lesnar,
Foot on a throat.
Match. Yeah.
Just embarrassed. Yeah, you got to sell this team as holy shit, what are we going to do? These guys don't care about their own physical health. What do you think they're going to do to us?
Yeah, that is what I would do. So let's keep it moving. Next up, we get Mark Briscoe versus Chris Jericho. But before that, we see Chuck Taylor, who's now an agent and apparently has his in-ring career is over. They told us that a couple different times. He goes out to Chuck Taylor and was like, hey, Mark, your match is next. And so Orange Cassidy, because of the conglomeration, is like, oh, cool, well, I'll go. And Chuck Taylor stops him for a moment and says, hey, man, let's be real. You're the one who beat Moxley. You're the one who's beat Pac. You're the one, who's beat Claudio.
You're going to have to do this.
Yeah. You're going to have to do this. Step up.
You're going to have to try.
And Orange Cassidy was just like, I don't want to. Stop. It's the most positive bullying we've ever seen. Hey, the bad guys are going to hurt us. Do something. I don't want that. And they push him still into it.
You're better than everybody else. You need to do this. Leave me alone. Being so mean to me.
God dang it. Yeah. And he kicks him and he beats up the bad guys. I don't
Positive affirmation bullying. I feel like we can make a TikTok series out of this.
Yes. That'd be great. But then we get Mark Briscoe, who is your ROH heavyweight champion, putting up his title against Chris Jericho in a ladder war match.
Ladder war.
Here's what I'll say. This is about as cold as a feud as you can get, even when they're trying to do the Jay Briscoe thing, right? It's still, However, I will give him his props, not his flowers, because I'm not a fucking 12-year-old. Chris Jericho, I hate when people give him his flowers. Can you not say props, credit? Are you give him fucking actual flowers then?
Why doesn't everybody just listen to me?
I just hate the phrase. It doesn't save you any time. You don't actually have flowers.
They're not trying to save time. They're trying to sound cool. So.
Dumb. Just say credit or props. It's the stupidest one right now.
So when props came around, people would be like, just fucking say credit.
Yeah, probably. It's okay. But flowers is stupid. It's just, we got to give them their flowers. before because it's insinuating like before they die, they got it's morbid, first off, and second off, who says you're gonna get invited to the fucking funeral, you douchebag? So just say credit. You know, you don't fucking know this person. Stop
we
saying
wouldn't
flowers.
reject these fucking flowers if you sent them anyway.
I don't fucking know you. Just say credit next time.
Return to
asshole.
sender, dumbass. Yeah. Man, Tom's descent into curmudgeon old man over the years is
Yes,
one of the best things of this podcast.
But it's also such a great visual to think of. Like you have this skit where the guys are like, "Hey, man, you know he gave it all he had. Let's send some flowers." And then like it gets to the funeral home, he's like, "Let's fucking like that guy," and just kicks
back.
it to the ground.
Fucking slept with his wife. What a day!
Yeah.
Return to sender.
Yeah, return to sender, dickhead. He hated you.
Yeah, can you imagine
anyhow.
getting back some funeral flowers?
Yeah, knocks on the door. You're just like,
like, oh, damn! Thought they liked me.
I guess I should have said credit.
Nobody.
That's the skit.
Should have sent him credit instead of fucking flowers.
Oh, okay.
All right, now that we're done entertaining ourselves, let's get back into the show.
What I was going to say, though, is Chris Jericho has been putting on some of the most physical matches in recent memory.
Yeah, I hate okay, so the shitting on Chris Jericho that everybody's done lately, and we've done it, and I agree. Less is more at this point, right? The absence makes the heart grow fonder. At some point, you got to take a break, and we haven't had a meaningful break from Jericho for a while. Jericho, I still feel like might be on one of those, like, if I had to listen, an honest to God top 5 of all time, Jericho might be there or sneaking around that number. If you think about the career Jericho's had, the different characters growing up from my age on, like Jericho's one of the most prominent figures in pro wrestling, bar none, period. Right? And he's still doing it in a day where people that came in like after him can't do it anymore. You know what I mean? Like he's still going for love of the game for one, because he's got all the fucking money he needs. You know what I mean? Like, so I want to give him those props or credit, if you will.
There you go.
And this was that, right? Like, this is a fucking 78-year-old man going out there doing things that, like, I probably wouldn't do now, right? Younger than him, I'm guessing. And so I just, good. It's weird that we did the match before. I guess you wanted to make sure Mark Briscoe got a win when he's defending his brother's honor, right? But now it was just too much. I also don't think this was much of a ladder war, right? We did get some big spots, but like when I hear ladder war, I want to remember when the chairs were flying in ECW?
Yes.
I want ladders on ladders on ladders on ladders on ladders on ladders on ladders, right? I want them to trip over a ladder trying to get to another ladder.
Yeah. Here's what I would say about Chris Jericho right now. I agree with you. I would say top, 20 for sure.
Sure.
And then 10 to 5, somewhere up in there all time. Right. Yep. But this also kind of feels like Ali in 78 when he's getting knocked out by Leon Spinks. It's like, yeah, he's Muhammad Ali. And I'm not saying he was the greatest, like Jericho's the greatest of all time. What I'm saying is it's like Ali held on 3 fights too long. Jericho is holding on about 3 years too much.
Long.
Yeah.
Well,
so that would be my only criticism.
I think the best things we could get out of Jericho now, we could get without him doing the in-ring stuff, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But he's your ROH champion now. I love this idea that I don't think I would have thought of it, and that I haven't seen it in a ladder match where Big Bill's like, get up there. Fuck it, I'm getting you up there. Fireman carries his ass up there. Good spot.
And he's like, he just grabs it and he's like, yep, I'm champion.
Yeah, I'm champion.
Now,
good spot. I like that.
Yes, I liked it a lot. Then the post-match, again, I love Ishii. I think he's awesome. I think the Stone Pitbull is awesome. But even when Britt Baker came out at the pay-per-view to like confront Mercedes and just stood there needs to be a barrier, because if you want to fight the motherfucker, you can just go there, right?
Yeah.
Even to the point of like one of the best moments in AEW history we were actually at All Out, when it was revealed MJF was the devil the first time around, right? When he got the casino thing and he came out after Punk beat John Moxley, but then he just stood there and it's like,
yeah, here's one thing I would do.
Nothing's stopping you. Go
Here's
hit
what
him.
I would do, because this is kayfabe, right? And we're going to make all this up. Anytime somebody does this kind of scenario, match is over or match is ongoing, unaffiliated participant, not without their manager license or whatever, enters the arena, they get a fine, right? Tony Khan should be putting out, Tomohiro Ishii was fined whatever $1,000 or whatever, right? Or less because he didn't actually go out there, right? Like that's what stopped him, right? Somebody's like, you're gonna fucking get fined or whatever. But like, if you establish that regularly, right, then you can write into that, be like, all right, fine, you know what I mean? Fine, right? I'm out of here. Because Excalibur did a good job of trying to fill in those gaps for us. Of like, why would Tomohiro Ishii all of a sudden be out here? Remember, here's why. But yeah, I agree with you. It feels way too. This was a blood feud over family honor, and the guy's still bleeding in the ring, and we're just like, and the next feud is this, right? We're just gonna like let it go.
Well,
what happens to poor Mark Briscoe now?
And no offense again to Ishii, but it wasn't a top name.
Yeah,
I'm making this up. But let's say Chris Jericho wins that ROH championship. Now, I wouldn't have done this, but it's the first name to come to mind. So please excuse that. But he puts up the belt and he's like, oh, I'm Ring of Honor champion. And then Bobby Lashley walks out. And then we're like, oh, shit.
Oh, fuck. Yeah.
Right? But when it's Ishii, we're just like, oh, okay. Love him. But,
yeah,
And
this could have been like, let's say Jay White wasn't doing this Hangman thing. Jay White comes out and is like,
yeah,
like you're not going to tarnish that name or whatever it is, right?
Yeah. But I would say like have security, like walking up to Ishii and Ishii's like, hey, fuck him. I'm just letting him know I'm going to kick his ass in the future.
Yep.
Something like that.
Never mind. Yeah. And that's where you have Christopher Daniels out there be like, you want to fine? You want to fine? And be like, all right.
All right.
You can say the number, $25,000 or whatever it is, right? And they'll be like, fuck, never mind.
Bullshit. That's bullshit. Next up, we don't get story time, even though that's what we're told, from Adam Cole, baby. Walks out.
I was ready for story time with Adam Cole, baby.
Typically, it's a fun promo. And so he's like, who's ready? Roderick Strong does the Adam, which still fun.
Of course. Fun. Well, and this is exactly where it would be needed.
Yeah. And then, man, Tim, they are trying to put lipstick on a pig here because they're like, that this was never about MJF. It's about us. What? And that it's me.
So maybe this is to come. Maybe this is to come. But here's where I would have went with this automatically. And MJF is doing the best he can here, right? Like this is sleazy heel stuff. He's getting a massage while he's talking to somebody. He's telling her to go lower while he's talking. I mean, all the good stuff. And so that's fine. But I would have just had them like immediately, like as they're like, why'd you fucking turn to the side? Like, this is the reason we did this. Let's do this. And he's like, all right, let's do this. And then the MJF promo comes on. Why didn't they turn on him? Like, they should have beat the shit out of here, and MJF would have been like, you dork. Right? And now those Undisputed Kingdom guys they don't even have to work for MJF. They just were like, fuck you. You left us aside, so now we left you aside and fucking gone.
So here's my prediction on how this goes. So MJF says, hey, fuck you guys. You know what? You both want to beat me up. I don't give a shit about that. First one, this is where he says, one to three wins.
3 straight wins.
3 straight wins. Fights me at Full Gear. So you obviously know they're both getting it at the same time. It's going to be a triple threat. Then at the end of this segment, Kyle O'Reilly was seen going like, what's that? Now, eventually he's going to join the Undisputed Kingdom. Undisputed Kingdom is going to fuck over Adam Cole. MJF, I imagine, will win, right? Ha, you fuckers were actually never friends. Leaves. Adam Cole and Roderick Strong is like, what the fuck, man? We had a plan. And then
get that blow off.
Well, then the two nerds beat up Adam Cole, and then that's when we get the blow off. And then Adam Cole could be like, "Hey, I need a friend. Kyle, would you help?" And he's like, "Of course." And Kyle Riley's like, "You're a fucking idiot."
Of course I'll help him, you dork. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's probably where we're gonna go with all of this.
I think there could be some really fun moments out of all that.
Oh,
we can get more of the Adam with Roderick Strong, and all that could be good.
All the fun stuff.
Still missing Neck Strong though. God damn.
Well, I mean, it could happen. It could happen. The triple threat. He could take a pile driver from MJF, and then that's how we get it back.
Neck Strong. He could be doing all kinds of things, like the strength, feats of strength with his neck. I guess he's like trying to train back, right?
Yeah.
Like pulling the fucking train with his neck and shit.
Yeah, I think that'd be great. All right. After that, we go backstage with Renee, and she's interviewing Jamie Hayter. And she's going to fight Penelope Ford.
So good on them for playing back, though, that Penelope Ford promo that kind of showed us, if you missed it, right, what she said. And this is the first we got out of Jamie Hayter, I think, that I can recall of, I guess maybe there was a little bit with Britt Baker, but did we get the, here's just face-up promo Jamie Hayter spitting words? I think she did okay here, but, meh.
Yeah, that's good. So 2 weeks from yesterday, we're going to get Penelope Ford, Jamie Hayter. Fun. Hey, look, I will say this about Penelope Ford. She's a badass. She is a fucking legit badass. Yeah. And you know how I know? Go watch her matches against Joey Janela in GCW. Go back and watch again.
She's
the
tough.
the most underrated match in AEW history. Bar none almost. The most underrated match in AEW history is the tag team match on New Year's Eve when it was Anna Jay and Ty Mello versus the Bunny and Penelope Ford. This girl can bring it.
That's what I was left with. I was like, I know we're serving all of this up because Jamie Hayter's on, quote unquote, on fire. Everybody's cheering her. Penelope Ford's going to make her look like $1 million. And not that Jamie Hayter needs that help, right? She's been doing this a long time, knows how to work. But I was left thinking, I was like, Penelope Ford's got more juice here, right? We could make a better character out of this Penelope Ford, and we have all the time in the world to get there, I guess. But that's kind of what I was left thinking with. I was like, I think we're going with the wrong person in this moment. Obviously we don't know who's going to win, but we know who's going to win.
I think Penelope Ford is a star. I don't know if she's Mercedes Moné, whatever we're gonna say, that kind of level.
No, but I think she's one of those that could be always a Christian Cage type, where you've got an amazing heel right here without much hard work from them, right? They can go out there and make you want to boo them very easily.
Or you could have her, because I could see her opposite a Britt Baker or Mercedes Moné, where
getting
she's
cheered.
because again,
100%.
Who's to say maybe after her injury, she's like, fuck all that shit. But she is legit a badass.
The Wrestling with Neurodivergence podcast agrees with us, says go, and Lisa agrees, go with Penelope.
Yeah, and Jamie Hayter's awesome. But Jamie Hayter's a different kind of almost strong side. But it's a strong style, right? It's a lariat, it's this thing, and that's
Penelope,
cool.
It's a cooler name. I know the Haterade and all the hater stuff.
Yeah.
I'm a hater, but I will say this. The promo was fine work out of Jamie Hayter, and it felt authentic, but it didn't feel like it aligned with the crowd feel that I get from Hayter, right? I feel like when Hayter we get the LOD pop of Jamie Hayter. That promo didn't feel right? It felt like, you know what I mean?
Restrained.
The Dustin Rhodes, I've been doing this up and down the roads, and that's, it just felt off, right? Something just felt off, even though everything was fine.
I agree. After this, we get a trios match. House of Black wins. Afterwards, it wasn't
the best spot of that was the one guy goes to the start and fucking Malachi Black does that roundhouse kick or whatever he does, and then the other guys are looking at each other what the fuck are you gonna, and he's just sitting there smiling you guys ready?
Yeah. Who's going to take this ass whooping? Yeah.
Loved it.
It was good. And
that was the best part of the match. Yeah.
Right. And then afterwards, Buddy Matthews says, hey, now that he's cleared, next week, Buddy Matthews versus Adam Cole. Then we go backstage and Renee Paquette is talking with Adam Cole and the Undisputed Kingdom. And she's like, hey, what's up with Buddy calling you out? And this was kind of cool where he's like, well, let's ask him. He just walks up and he's like, what's up? I like that. More of that. That's cool.
Yes, because and then also like, I like that he's like, all right, well, fuck, he's got a problem, and he goes up and he's like, all right, and then he does get a little bit of that, like, okay, shit, there's like the three of them here now. The lights are blue for some fucking reason, and this is weird now. But like, I'm still tough. I'm still fucking tough, right? Like, I'm still. You want to fight? And then when the other two left, and it's just him, he's like, what do you got? Again, it felt real. It was like, okay, fine, you want to call me out, but like, we have a problem that I'm unaware of. Like, what's the deal, right? And he's just like, then he's like, you're nothing. Fragile. Like that's almost worse, right? Getting called out by some guy is one thing, but if you're like, why? And they're just like, you'd be like, no, why? You must fucking tell me. That would bother you more. You know what I mean? Like, whatever, right? Like, you could beat me up for one thing. I might take that better than you not telling me why you wanted to beat me up. Like, what did I do? The fuck? Nah. That's weird.
It'll come again. That's what he should say. He's like, it'll come again. Like, I'm gonna challenge you again. Like, what the? Why?
Yeah, why?
No, fuck you.
I fucking do. Yeah, you know.
Yeah. So anyhow, Buddy Matthews says, because he's fragile.
Yeah, because I want to prove you're fragile. Or he said to prove a point, and he's like, what? That you're fragile. I mean, don't we know that?
Yeah. I mean,
wasn't that proof? Like, what? Wasn't there already proven points that proved that point?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? All right, let's keep it going. We get a fun match here. It's Queen Aminata who's growing on me here, and it's versus Camille. Now, before this, we had this whole video package of Chris Statlander, Camille, who is the roughest, toughest, really meanest girl in the AEW locker room. Okay.
You say, I mean, and again, say what you will about that, right? About like, do we
great,
care about that? But I'm saying whoever's been doing that lately, I don't know if they've hired somebody recently. The actual production quality of their videos lately is fucking top notch.
Yes,
awesome.
yes.
I watch it too, and I think I've even told you on one of these, I'm like, I know the level of effort and time it takes to do some of the things they're doing on those. Jesus Christ. They spent a lot of time and effort on that. It's good stuff.
Yeah. The highlight package by itself was great. This is my kind of only issue with it is so Camille beats Queen Aminata. Queen Aminata gets some good spots here, but are we the champion?
The champion
is Mercedes
is standing beside her, and so
and
here's
no one gives a shit.
Yeah, why it falls flat. And I mean, this is my assessment that it falls flat, but like why, you know, I think this probably isn't hitting home, and some people may disagree with me. Is that okay? You two are going to battle out for who's the biggest, you know, fucking meat brick house. But what does that mean? The biggest brick meat house in AEW hasn't done fuck all for any woman in AEW, right? Like Nyla Rose, I guess she did have the title for a while.
The
but
championship,
But like, I mean,
yeah.
I guess Jade Cargill, you could say TBS championship. But like, well, I just, again, we don't like, I guess that's a cool feather to have.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Here's my issue with it is the feud started with Chris Statlander and Mercedes. And for whatever fucking reason, Chris Statlander this is the point I'm trying to make, is just Mercedes is like, I'll get to you later. I'm going after this person. So then why didn't the feud start with, oh, hey, I saw that I'm making this up, body slam 2 girls at one time. Well, watch this. And then she goes out there and now the feud is, I'm the baddest. Well, I'm the baddest. And then that's an ego thing and we can get behind it. But for the feud to start with Mercedes and then take a right turn to then feud with Camille to then get back to Mercedes, it feels like a fucking reach around that gone wrong.
Well,
something.
And we could have milked this, right? The whole reach around gone wrong. I hate that. Always the worst. Never is enjoyable by anybody involved. Except the cameraman. Tom, we didn't get any of this. Like, we don't get them like in a bench press competition. We don't get them in like, I can body slam 4 people at the same time. I can body slam 5 people at the same time. Like, we're not, it feels rushed in what we're doing. And it's another one of these where, like, if you wrote this out on paper, I go, yeah, this sounds cool. You know what I mean? The Hosses are going to have a Hoss off. But we did it in 2 weeks, and we didn't really do it much.
Well, that's true, too. But also, this feud started with the other person, who's the champion, which, again, we're supposed to be told everyone wants to be a champion. So why you would say, hey, champion, cool title, I'm actually going to fight the other person. Like, you kind of look like a dumb fuck. You know what I mean?
We got Dean Pierce in the chat says Tori Wilson should come to AEW. I don't know that she's built to handle it anymore these days. But
I wouldn't mind.
I mean,
big part of my adolescence. Big part.
A lot of Tori Wilson posters was there.
Tori Wilson in my life growing up.
A lot of internet pictures printed on the old family computer there. Tori Wilson.
Right. What great moments here. Okay, hey.
Brother smacked himself down is what we're saying.
All right, so then we go backstage and okay, actually, let's finish it up. Chris Statlander comes out, gets in Camille's face. Mercedes does the weakest, like, I'm cool thing. Cheap shots her, but then Statlander's like,
she gives her the fucking elbow off into the ropes. Yeah. And again, Mercedes sold that well. That was good.
Yeah. And then Mercedes grabs Statlander's leg. Camille gives her the whatever the fuck that move was. And there we go. Now let's get back to the fun. An SUV pulls up backstage, and all the AEW baby faces there are like, yep, this is that motherfucker.
This is it.
I'm going to beat him up. This is what I would tell you where you're wrong. It wasn't a truck. It's an SUV. The new BCC rides in trucks. Remember all their fucking first promos where he's sitting in the back bed of the truck?
This was, I didn't catch it. I thought it was the truck.
It was an SUV.
It was the same truck. Oh.
No, it was an SUV. And I was like, well, that's not it. It's not a Trump truck. You know what I mean? It's not the fucking bullshit stuff with the fucking flag hanging and all this stuff. How dare they hijack the flag from us? Fuck you guys. Anyhow, you know what I'm saying? But it's not that. It's an SUV. So I was like, that's not them. And here comes, the second best dressed man in AEW, Christian Cage. And he's like, get the fuck out of here. Guess who's the fucking next champion? I'm the next champion. And like, we didn't want to talk to you. And he's like, I didn't want to talk to you either, you fucking pussies. It's just
I love that Christian Cage. And again, like even as I think, if I'm completely believing this is real, and I believe that's Christian Cage, right? The father of the year. He knows damn well they weren't there for him. He's like, you'll never get this time.
You'll never. I don't want it. You'll never get it, though.
You ain't fucking here for you dipshit.
Asshole. Take care of you later. But they walk into the... well, actually, they're out there, and they see Kip Sabian. And Kip's like, oh, they caught me
got done
again.
breaking into cars or something over there.
Yeah, something, a little peeping Tom. And then he runs... and then Christian and Nick and the family run after him. And then they get in and they're like, what the fuck is it? And then we go backstage and Hook is like, oh, I know who it was that attacked my dad. And they're in the fucking ring. Key piece there. He didn't say who it was.
He never said it was Christian, right? He never said
it was Christian. So he goes in there and he yeets fucking Nick Wayne, right? Get out of here. It's definitely not you, pussy.
I love this because Nick Wayne was like, I'll handle this. And Hook's like, see ya. Because that happens again later. But anyway,
He's like, get the fuck out of here. And then he gets right in Christian's face. Again, didn't say that you attacked my dad. He just like, before he could actually even say anything, Kip Sabian does a little, how's your father?
Ovarian delight right there.
Yeah, a little Kansas City punt right there. And then Hook was like, oh, that didn't feel well. And he falls to the ground. And then they, they do the thing. They hit him on the, he's out. Right. But then Christian goes to Kip Sabian. Here's where a microphone would have been great because the crowd I felt was lost because Well, no, the crowd I thought was lost because
Oh.
no one was able to hear what the fuck they were
Crowd
saying.
doesn't know what's happening.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the crowd. So
yeah,
you're not getting reactions. They're kind of just sitting around.
Yeah, but he tells him, "I know why you're doing this. I know why you've been doing this,
and I'll handle you later." And
Get in
then
your
he
corner.
hits, yeah,
Which is the get in
exactly.
your room,
I forgot
right?
about
Yeah.
that. Yeah, he's like, "Get in your corner," and Kip Sabian's like, "Daddy,
Okay. Yeah, daddy.
Oh,
Yeah.
daddy.
Big daddy
Daddy.
energy going on here.
Yeah, daddy. Did you see him discipline me? Yeah. And then
Yeah.
And then I wanted to see, because someone told me this. I don't even know if maybe I saw it posted and I was like, I don't know if that's what he said, but I went to AEW's website. I'm on it right now. And he did say this. So he does the whatever the fuck his finisher on Hook is right on the thing.
The kill switch.
Kill switch. Yeah, W fucking idiot.
Mm-hmm.
He does the kill switch. And then Christian gets into his face and he goes, "Listen to me." He goes, "Listen to me, Tyler. It's not what it seems." We ain't even calling him Hook. We went right to Tyler.
Yeah. It's this interesting storyline again. Right now, again, there's a Kip Sabian angle going on at the same time as Christian Cage Hook angle. And somebody attacked Taz.
And I've got the thing for the next championship shot.
Yeah. He is the undisputed, reigning, defending, next AEW World Champion.
And his dinosaur's gone.
That sucks.
Are we going to address that? I think he said it, but are we going to be like...
Yeah, character-wise, they haven't addressed it. Yeah, character-wise, they have not said it. Did they say anything about him having, did Excalibur mention?
If they did, I don't
couple
remember
weeks? Yeah, I don't know. That is really shitty and unfortunate, too, because he's fucking awesome.
He's great.
And yeah, it really... I'll say this. They've done an amazing job of maintaining the storyline without having to explain it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just the "listen to me, Tyler. It's not what it seems." A lot of questions. This is very interesting. But again, I think a microphone would have made it better because then you would have got crowd reactions on top of us, kind of because a lot of questions come up. First off, why would Christian all of a sudden attack Taz? Right? Yeah. That doesn't make any sense to just now.
Just attack him for no reason.
Yeah. He's also using his name, which, when someone has a nickname, but then they're called by their government name, it's usually by a parent. And then, Kip Sabian, what the fuck is he doing? Why did he hit Hook? What the fuck? What beef you got with him? Unless you're just trying to impress your daddy.
Yeah, or he's just really into the daddy thing.
God, he dresses like a weirdo too. Those fucking too tight Stone Cold Steve Austin 1998 jeans that he's wearing.
Stonewash gray. Yeah.
God. And his ugly ass hair.
His Bee Gees gray haircut. I don't know what's going on with that.
I don't know. Man, I want to shove him in a locker. You know what I mean? He's the type of guy you'd pick on. He's like, I don't fucking know. You know why? Asshole. Look at you. I was a bully in high school.
Give me your lunch money. Why? You don't gotta fucking ask why. You know why.
Shut up. Shut the fuck up. Not proud of it, but I definitely was. But you grow as a person, and I like to think that I have. But sometimes I have the tendencies, and it's when I look at Kip Sabian, and I just go you fucking come on. Just, put yourself in the locker.
Take me back to the old me here, man.
Yeah. Those little moments. It's just little micro moments. You know what I mean? Just, okay. Hey.
But instead of stuffing him in a locker, I discuss it with my therapist. Everybody's happy.
Oh, God. Of. Side note. This was fun. I saw this clip the other day. It was Bill Burr, actually. And someone was like, "Hey, Bill, do you talk to a therapist?" He's like, "Yeah, I did." But then eventually just came to I was just saying the same thing. So, I kind of stopped. And the girl, I think it was Tom Segura's wife, Christina or something. She was like, "Oh, you have so much pent up anger in you." And he looked at her and she's like, 10 years of therapy. And she's like, doing that. And he goes, "I don't fucking care." He goes, "I've watched 40 years of football, but I shouldn't be a coach." What the fuck you telling me?
That's
the best.
He's the best.
Yeah, he's the best. I just like that story. All right, then we get to our main event. It is the
event.
Elite versus Private Party and Daniel Garcia. We gotta get some fun here. Now, as I mentioned earlier, Stokely Hathaway is in the front row.
Yeah.
So we get some good action. The action necessarily didn't tell the story. It was really kind of everything afterwards, right? So the Elite beat Daniel Garcia and Private Party, which, okay, right? And then Zay, I think it's Zay, gets on the mic and I was like, hey, we have your number. And the EVPs are like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, what a nerd.
No, you don't. We beat you twice now, right? Which is factual, right? I would be like, I don't need what other way can I beat you? Like, I've done it every way possible. Like, get out of here, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then he says, hey, I got something for you. Next week, I think it was next week. Yeah, next week, if you beat us, we'll never be a tag team again. Now, here's where we get some fun, thought-provoking questions here, right? So for one, let's remember Stokely Hathaway was the one who said, hey, he's the fucking star of this group.
Yeah.
Because Mark Quinn, I think is that Mark Quinn or Mark Quinn?
Nailed it. Yep.
He was like, hey, dude, what? No. Why?
Yeah, he's like, why did you say that? Yeah.
Yeah. So it could be.
So does he join with Stokely? Does he take him up on the thing? Or does he maybe... We haven't got here yet, but like the Elite seem also involved in some other stuff later going on. Is he? Mm-hmm. So do one of these guys get involved in that? Like this Private Party thing is weird too. Again, I love all of the like mixed storylines that we're doing here. Mm-hmm. They layer over each other here, and this one is weird with me. Like I don't know what we do here, but I do think.
Well,
yeah.
Here's the other thing. We also have history of the EVPs, Young Bucks, breaking up tag teams. Remember when Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian had to break up, and Christopher Daniels cut one of the best promos in AEW history.
Amazing.
Yeah. So they've broke up teams in the past. So it's not as if this is a new concept for them. They're like, yeah, we love doing this shit.
That was another one that wasn't on the show that should have been.
Yeah, it should have been.
His fucking crying promo was amazing. Anyway.
Was great. But so they broke up tag teams in the past, namely the SoCal Uncensored, right? So it's not like this isn't something that could happen. Zay does seem like I'm the fucking star. I talk for the team. This is what we're doing. And Mark Quinn is like, hey, what the fuck? It almost feels like what Stokely Hathaway did took longer, but what Stokely Hathaway did with Willow and Chris Statlander when they're like, oh yeah, you too, but fuck you guys, right? Like you don't like each other.
And this is where I think this is where we would put Mark Quinn with Stokely, right? Because I think he threw that curve where he's like, everybody knows Isaiah's the thing, right? And then I think you even have them lose this match because Stokely comes out and costs them, or Mark does, he comes out and Mark does something, and then like Mark's like, once I heard you make that decision without me, I realized we make decisions without each other. And so I determined if we're not going to be a tag team, then I need to get ahead of that game.
I like that.
Got me some representation.
I like that idea. I was thinking it would go, they lose, then the next week they're kind of like beaten up. Mark Quinn is like, man, this fucking sucks. But Zay's like, I don't know. I mean, like, we won't tag, but
I'm gonna be
I got other opportunities. And then Stokely is like, hey, Zay, you ready? And he's like, yeah, let's go. And Mark Quinn's like, what the fuck? And then he's like, I'm the star. Like that could be the other way.
Could do that too.
Now, the EVP say, yep, taking you up on that, right? Then we go back out, and now a truck appears. I don't think it was an SUV. It was an actual truck. And Marina Shafir goes, ha, you little bitches. I ain't who you want, And all the baby faces look dumb.
But
and
again,
they're like, what?
You remember, you've said this a bunch of times, right? Where like Marina Shafir has choked out a bunch of dudes. Some of these dudes right here. But now suddenly they see her and they're like, oh, we can't touch her as a woman. She choked some of you out last week.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna.
I'm telling
She's
you,
coming after your
when-
livelihood, and you're waiting to feed
Yep.
your family. Okay.
Because look, that's the part. That's the problem I have when you do this stuff is because now you just look like a fucking idiot. Where you go like, but if she
if
touches
you
me-
say men can't hit women, then like you gotta like not have a situation where women like I mean the occasional like the one slap like
yes,
because like you know what I mean like because it's part of a story. But yeah, this idea that like now they're all like ready to one of the people who's been doing the things to them popped out of that car.
Mm-hmm.
And they were just like, oh, man.
Yeah.
What are we going to do?
I completely agree. Yeah.
What are you talking about? You don't even throw something at this woman? Like, what are you talking about?
Throw tomatoes and stuff.
No
just
shoe
throw
getting
trash at
thrown
her.
here.
Yeah,
What the
there you
fuck?
go. Fucking shoes. I learned from Tony Storm. They just throw shoes at her.
Fucking
Yeah,
if a
because-
president can get a shoe thrown at him.
Well, because like to that point, I agree. If it's a babyface girl and Vince McMahon, then the babyface girl hits Vince McMahon, fuck that guy, right? And in real life, fuck that guy, right? You know what I'm saying? But when the woman is the aggressor, now you've put the babyface guy in a lose-lose
Choking
situation.
people to death,
Yeah.
dude, hanging a guy from the ring.
Yeah, I just
But he's like, I can't hit a woman who
Right,
damn near
exactly.
killed me. Okay.
Yeah. So it was a diversion, right? Moxley is in all black, so I guess he was security or something like that. And he grabbed Chuck Taylor and he goes, I'm gonna fuck this guy up, and he throws him in the ring. And then here comes Claudio and Yuta. Now here's the other point I wanted to bring up. Stokely brought this, like, showed the video. Someone could have been Moxley, I don't know. Someone grabs bear hugs from behind Stokely Hathaway and just moves him out of everything. Just whoop, like separates him from the front row. So I don't know if that was like, hey, we're getting
Part
you
of
out
the
of here,
deal. Yeah.
or hey, we're fucking you up too, because he didn't really, we didn't see him get beat up, right? You know what I'm saying? That was the other part.
I would like to point out that I feel like they're listening to us now, because remember when we said Claudio isn't believable as this like evil, angry, gonna burn the world down guy. We need him to start doing dastardly things. And now each week the dastardly things are being done by
him.
Claudio.
Yeah. And this was some Yuta, man alive. I did not have any faith in this guy. I thought he was generic, fun guy, wrestler, but his acting is top notch, because we get Chuck thrown in the ring. Then Yuta's like, all right, well, let's fuck his ankle up, right? Let's fuck Chuck's ankle up. And they put it on there, and Moxley's like, no. You know what we're here to do. And they throw it off the ankle, and he's like, hey guys, are we not beating him up then? I guess, okay, I'm fine with not beating him up. Like, that's kind of the thought I thought he was thinking, And then they put it on Chuck's neck, and you're just like, okay, what? And then before he could even say, what are we doing here? Claudio, like you said, says, yeah, and just stomps Chuck's head like a fucking bug. Yeah. Yeah, he was trying to stomp to the core of the earth. And Yuta's like, what the fuck are we doing? And before he could be like, even say anything, then here comes those baby faces, and he's like, well, they want to kill me, so I gotta get out of here. And he runs off with the new BCC. So I posted this on Threads. I wanted your opinion on it. I think a subplot of a subplot of a subplot is that we're also killing the innocence of Yuta.
Yeah.
And
there's a lot of ways you can go off that, right? Like then we get Yuta off the deep end, right? Psychotic Yuta, or we get Yuta's redemption from the evils that I had to do, right? And I agree with you. The subtleties of that, right? He came in slinging hardware, right? Like ready to burn this thing down, and then still was like, God, what? We're going too far.
Yeah. Yes, it's killing the innocence. It reminds. Have you ever seen The Wire? Did you ever see The Wire?
No.
Okay, so
I know.
no big deal.
Everybody hates me for that, but yeah.
No, it's a fantastic show.
No, I know
But
it
one
is,
of the parts,
Yeah.
one of the parts of the show that you see kind of throughout the first to the last episode is the corner boys go from kids kind of in over their head, doing little drug deals to shootouts to, all that, to eventually where one of them, and I won't ruin it if no one's seen it that's listening, one of them gets to the point where there's a shootout and he could easily get away. And he just looks back and he's like, because earlier in the episode, he's like, man, I'm tired of this. And he basically is like, okay, if I run from this one, it happens again in, 3 weeks.
This might as well be the one.
Right. And so what my thought process was on that is Yuta gets to the point where they're like, hey, Yuta, so did you see last week when they did? And he's like, you know what the fuck I've seen? Like, you think a power bomb through 2 tables is something that's going to scare me? Like he's almost like the old man coming back from war, something like that too, where it's like, oh, I'm supposed to be scared that someone broke into my house. Do you not see what I did on the beaches
kind
of
of
Normandy?
like, why aren't you dead yet? And be like, I wish I fucking knew.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
The most scariest possibilities that could happen in AEW. He's like, yeah, Danielson and Moxley did that to me on Thursdays.
Yeah.
They're like, are you fucking serious? It's like, yeah. And I'm still here. Like, God,
Crush, you ever been to a Diddy party? You think this is going to scare me?
Anyway, so Orange Cassidy gets into the ring as the new BCC leaves.
Just
and he takes
a second too late, though.
Great
Good timing on this. Yeah.
Great timing. Yeah. And he gets in there and he takes a knee next to Chuck. And you hear,
shocked.
Well, yeah, but then you hear Daniel Garcia, and I think also maybe a couple members of Dark Order's like, hey, man, it's time for you to do something. And you just see him staring. Now, I sent you a video, which they said exclusive content after the show. They go to this exclusive content. He's still taking a knee, and Garcia's still chirping at him. It's like, man, this is messed up. This is messed up. And Orange Cassidy stands to his feet, and he's like, I will do something.
He shoved him. Remember, he first gets up and he fucking shoves Garcia.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. And he's like, I'll do something. I'll do something Wednesday night. And then everyone's like, hey, we got to be on the same page here. Everyone's same page.
I like that Garcia was me like, hey, man, don't take this out on me. Be like, you were just fucking taking it out on him. But anyway.
Yeah. Because Garcia's response to being pushed was like, don't do it to them, not me.
Yeah.
And Orange Cassidy's like, you're about to see what I'm going to do.
You know what he said? He's like, I didn't want to do any of this, Daniel. And he's like, you got it now. Like, you want to or not? Yeah, I love that. He's going to have to try.
Very interesting.
Tom, he's going to have to try.
So it looks to be that he's going to be the first one going up against Orange Cassidy.
Or does he side?
No, I don't think he sides.
He said he's going to take care of it Wednesday.
Yeah.
Is he going to take care of Daniel Garcia on Wednesday?
No. I mean, maybe. Possibly. But you know where I was thinking it would go? Is parallels. I'm not saying the exact same thing, okay? So when I say this, don't be like, oh, he's up in the rafters. But he does a sting where he's like, you assholes want me to do this. I don't want to do it. So you're pushing me in a situation. Obviously, fuck these guys. Fuck you for trying to make me do this. I'm out. I'm throwing in the towel. I'm just hanging out. If you want me, I'll be eating chips with Hook and catering, and just like, I'm not doing anything. Like, fuck you. But then what would be, because you would think Chuck Taylor is the thing that would make him call to action. So if it is that, what would be the next thing?
Yeah, Orange Cassidy's root character fits well the new age Sting of like Sting was hanging in the rafters because he was like, you both didn't believe in me. But instead of Orange Cassidy just being like, I just don't want to, right? Like a new twist on that.
I don't want to do this.
Like, I just whatever. But I feel like we've gone too far now with what we've done to do that. If that makes sense, because he said, I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to hand or whatever, right? So now we have to do something.
Now, again, breaking the kayfabe, I think he will do something because we have to have an opponent for Moxley at Full Gear. Like, I don't think we're going to not have Moxley defend his title at a paper. So
Angel here in the chat says Orange Cassidy is about to have a breakout moment as a more serious person. So there is that. We could maybe move Orange Cassidy away from less of the like always whatever, right? Like I can barely be bothered to raise my hand, to where he's still a relaxed, cool guy, calm down, but you can take him a little more, every day seriously.
Yeah, he's such an interesting character because I agree with Angel. I do think we get a more serious person, but what I'm afraid of, just from a unique perspective of what AEW is as a challenger brand, is then, well, what is he, right? Because what made him unique when we started this whole fucking thing was he didn't care. And isn't that cool? He does a dive, but he just
try, right?
That's fun. And so it's like, hey guys, are you tired of WWE and Lex Luger flexing every, Monday night? Look over here. This fucking guy's just doing one of these things. Yeah. Lex Luger. Well, he's the most generic wrestler in WWE history to me.
Elias.
You know what I mean?
You want to see Elias?
Yeah. You want to hear him sing a song? Like, no, fuck off, right? Because then does he just become a dude? Is he then Seth Rollins?
Right.
Where it's like, well, what's Seth Rollins? I don't know. Now
this guy that dresses weird. Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's what I'm afraid of, is if you take him into these deep waters, how do we ever get back to standard? Because one of my favorite Orange Cassidy moments of all time was early on when it was Cody Rhodes versus Chris Jericho and that feud that led to the pay-per-view. And they had a fight with the Inner Circle and Cody and some friends like MJF and everyone else. And it was Santana and someone in there punch each other. And they open a door and Orange Cassidy is just standing there. Just like, hey guys, what's up? Like doing that, and you're like, what why are you here? And then they just leave it. And like, that's what made him cool. So I don't know if we go to, my name is actually, Chris, like, well, all right, what the fuck where do we go from there? So
yeah, I know
that's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah. It would take, so I'll say the moment is the type of moment where you can do a thing like that, a dramatic change in a character with a name and a thing like that. I don't know what you would take Orange Cassidy to that would be better or cooler than what Orange Cassidy is. So I'd be worried about doing that.
Yeah.
But as Angel says here, Orange Cassidy does feel like a huge star, and he barely tries to like make himself pop, as Angel says here. So
and that's
I think there's things we could do, right, to make him a bigger star without changing too much about who he is.
Because also to a certain extent, you could do the thing of like, I'm only a savage during war. When I go back home, I can be.
Effect.
Yeah, well, not that, but like, you know what I mean? When you're somewhere in war, and then when you come back out of it, you can go get groceries with not having to, throw your cart into someone.
I want him to be like, whatever, and then the bell rings, and he's like, bitch, I'm like, and bell rings again, and he's like, nah, probably not going to work. Probably wouldn't be.
Because, well, because Hook has kind of also gone a little bit too far too. Because I was thinking, if you did take him into the serious route, he could mentor a Hook who also kind of doesn't care, right? Like Hook's doing it cooler, but he also doesn't really give a shit. But now we've already got him, his dad's attacked and stuff, so he's kind of already went past that point. But yeah,
Orange Cassidy like that, mentors Hook on how to be the shit without having to give a shit.
Yes,
I like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Well, that was AEW Dynamite. We got Fight Night or Fright Night next week.
Fright Night Dynamite.
Fright Night. And we got some good matches. We got Shelton Benjamin and Shelton Benjamin and Swerve Strickland. We also got, what else we have here? We've got some good shit. We've got, we've got the Young Bucks and what's his ass? Private Party. We got that. No. Private Party and the Young Bucks. Do they break up?
I think they do. I think Private Party breaks up. Yeah. Angel says they'll be in the Bridgeport taping. That'll be cool. Give us some reports on how that goes. Join us here afterwards for this conversation like you're doing now, like Dean's doing, like the fine folks at the Wrestling with Neurodivergence podcast, which, by the way, check out the Wrestling with Neurodivergence podcast after you've listened to this one, of course, which,
Awesome.
we're nearing the
awesome
end.
podcast.
Awesome podcast. Man, again, I think this AEW, at worst, I'm giving it a B+, right? But I don't think I'm venturing into the A territory much, right? I thought this episode was fine, but I think we're still doing okay things with the storytelling. But you're right. It's really largely centered around this main event storytelling that we got going on right now, which is multifaceted and involves a lot of characters. So I get some of that, right? I get where we might have this and 2 or 3 other things, but I just think the 2 or 3 other things aren't really hitting as much as we could to really supplement what's going on right now.
1000% agree with that. I think the best thing about AEW is kind of the dripping of a storytelling where we're doing this, right? Where we're like, well, I don't know. What does that mean? Does like Stokely,
why do you call him Tyler?
Right. But when we're actually watching the show, we're kind of like, okay. And then you think about it later and you're like, this is cool. But like in the moment, you're not calling your friend like, dude, fucking watch Adam Cole and Buddy Matthews. You know what I mean? Like you're just going like, okay. Yeah.
Nobody made that phone call. Nobody was like, oh my God.
Yeah. Well, that's next week as well. I was looking
Buddy
at
Matthews calling out Adam Cole.
Yeah. So we got Swerve Strickland, Shelton Benjamin, Young Bucks, Private Party, Camille, Chris
Swerve
Statlander,
and Shelton Benjamin. Hold on. Like, goddamn. How cool is this match going to be?
Well, I think we might get some story, hopefully.
Good old Bob Lash.
Is that where Franklin shows up?
I think Frankie shows up here.
Because then that's the pay-per-view match, right?
Yeah.
Old Frank Lashley.
Frank Lash.
Swerve
That's what it is like we've been building up Shelton Benjamin as like, who's going to stop this guy? Swerve's going to be doing it. MVP's going to be like, what the fuck? Get out here. And then I have a 4-inch neck and 1 facial expression and I'm going to fuck shit up. Bob Lash.
Oh,
yeah.
He also doesn't have real front teeth. I know that because I had to find them for him. After his fight, he took his mouthpiece out. He's like, T-Mac, I can't find. He's like, this is going to be weird. I can't find my teeth. And he like showed me. I was like, oh shit. Okay. 1 second.
Yeah. Anybody see any teeth? Teeth? You got any teeth? Any teeth hanging around? No,
Yeah.
George Washington was here earlier, lost his teeth. You got him? I'll get him back to the old president thing.
He ended up finding them, but yeah, he asked me and I was like, motherfucker. Yeah. So,
was it like one of those like, oh shit, I had them in my pocket the whole time.
No, it was like, yeah, it was like in his bag or something like that.
Fucking fell between the cushions of this fucking couch.
Son of a bitch. I got to get all those fucking Cheetos out of it.
Shit. Fucking use condom back here in this. All right. Tom, we will you know the wrestling locker rooms. You know how it is. Tom, I'm having a blast talking AEW with you this week with the Wrestling with Neurodivergence pod with new friends, Dean and Angel. I hope you'll stick around. We do this every week. We like you to chime in. If you can't chime in live with us, we have an email, aewrapup@gmail.com. You can send a typed out email, an audio clip, a video clip. We'll talk about it or play it here. We're on Threads. We're on the Blue Sky, right? We're on the TikTok. Subscribe, like, all of those things. And just be our friend, right? When we come back here for more All Elite Wrap Up next week.